Melbourne, Australia. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are in the world. Nothing like a little bit of fiction. Well, I won't keep you long because I've got the stew on, and I can't wait to participate. Well, remember that program way back in England, and a great program. It was called Dad's Army, and there was an old guy in there, a corporal. He used to say to the commanding officer, the captain at the time, said, "Mr. Manmarine, we're doomed." Well, we are. Australia is doomed. New Zealand is well and truly doomed, and the list goes on. I'll show you a graph from the census in 2021, and it'll give you an idea of what's happening. So let's keep it short. What are we going to do about it? I mean, petrol prices gone up, electricity, gas, food shortages, and yet we're doing nothing, sitting around and just accepting the fact that we are doomed. We must find some way of removing the Labour Party. In fact, all politicians are criminals. Some of them have been convicted by the common law court, and we're still working on that one. And it's the only road back is common law, and common law is the people. So if the people get together and they make decisions that some criminals need to be charged, as they have here in Victoria, we've got a number of them now convicted and charged. Some of them have stood down from their jobs as ministers in the Victorian corporation or government, whatever you want to call it. Well, we must make a fight. Now, the common law court needs funds, and probably I should bring it up now. I'll put it at the end where you can send some money. There's a couple of people putting $10 a month in, and I really thank you for that. We want to put a vehicle on the road, a sheriff's vehicle, so that rather than a talk fest, it'll become a reality. People can see it. There'll be a number on the vehicle and an email address where people can ring up and get help. Because, as I said, we're pretty doomed. We need to fight back, and I mean fight back lawfully. And common law is the people, and on behalf of all the men and women, right? Remember, if you're a person, you're a corporation, you deserve everything you get. You turn up in the fictional courts or statute system or maritime law, whatever you call it, and you go there as a victim, as a person, you are doomed, Mr. Mannering, totally doomed, because they will not let you into some of the courts now unless you plead outside to the prosecution, which is a member of the police service, a private corporation, sadly. Now, I'm not knocking the police. There's a lot of really good cops who are sick to death of it, and this, I can assure you, is pretty true. They do want to do something about it. We've got to get these prosecution out of they should not be police. They should be out in the road policing. The whole system is absolutely rotten. As I said, we're doomed, but it's up to you, the men and women. And sadly, the men and women in their 30s and 40s are too busy raising their families to get involved. It's only when they reach 40, 55, they realize we've been screwed. Now, another thing I want your help on, there's going to be a lot of people losing their homes because of the interest rate rise. And the banks have got no right to do what they're doing, because in actual fact, they don't lend you any money whatsoever. That's a long subject. I'm trying to keep this short. Our attention span, remember, is probably 10 minutes if I'm lucky. So if you know anybody who's going to lose their home, contact the common law court. The email address, I'll put up here as well. Let us help you if we can. At the moment, we're set up in an office. We just need some money we don't even have a decent computer. We're using personal laptops, so we need to get a few quid in. So I'll put the address up at the end, the bank details. Please send us that money. But anyway, let's go and have a look at the census, and you'll see where Australia stands and why we are doomed, because there's no Australians anymore. There's no English, no Irish. There's nothing. We're a multicultural mixture of what? What are we? Well, unless we stand together, even as a multicultural nation, these criminal politicians will destroy us. And the Bar Association, lawyers, solicitors, whatever you want to call them, they're in politics, and they're the reason that the system has gone so bad, because all their other allegiances to a foreign power. Okay, let's go across to look at the census. Talk to you later on. Let's take a look at this graph, this multicultural awakening. The reason we have the Labour Party in situ at the moment, which are a private corporation, of course, owned and controlled by the Democrats. all for one and one for all, as they say. But just look at the beginning here, Australia, how the population has changed and why we are. And I really believe this is why we are a republic, unlawfully, of course, since the Act of 1986, because the Labour Party, with their branch stacking, completely changed the face of Australia for good. Let's have a look. United Kingdom, the amount of people were here way back in 1996. So let's just follow this chart across, and you can see it change. And the people coming from the traditional areas, UK, Ireland, Germany, France, Greece, all those other countries that came here after the war and built this country, how it's changing right up till now. If you look at how, have a look at this now. This is the census taken in 2021 when the lockdowns was going on. So traditional Australians, would you say, came from Europe, and have a look here at India. It's catching up, and you don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to look around and see all the jobs. The jobs are all around Indians. Every truck you see, every courier you see is Indians. They're not Australians, they're Indians. Let's face it. And nothing wrong with that if you're happy. And then you have a look, China. Now China's buying up all the land. China's ruling the world. Now I have nothing against China. I've been to China, love the place, but the population is growing. So when it comes to a vote, and look at the people down here from New Zealand, and then of course we have the other ones here. Fair enough. But what it really, this picture is saying that there's no longer Australia as we know it, no longer in Ireland as we know it. England's completely, there's just no English anymore. So this is the reason the Labour Party are in power. This is the reason the Labour Party will continue. And the other crowd are not much better, because they're all socialists, one world government. And if we don't do something about it, what we're going to do, well, I don't have a clue, because as they said in that old program on TV, Mr. Mannering, we're doomed. Remember Dad's Army? Yes, Mr. Mannering, we are doomed. Well, thanks for watching. Instead of whinging about things, let's get something done. Subscribe to the Common Law Court, put a few quid in. If you've got a vehicle you want to donate, my God, we will bite your hand off. Anyway, this is London News signing off. See you all again soon. Take care for now.